And Maxick was like the man. I mean, I don't know what his lifts were. I think he was like clean and jerk 300 something at 160 pounds way back then, when that was like world class. And a lot of his training was just like muscle control, like going inward and being able to do like just manipulations and control of muscles. And it's interesting to think. I will say it for a fact, I've worked with a lot of younger athletes who, even more than lacking, I guess, air quotes, strength, because like it's multifactorial, just their ability to control their bodies in very basic, slow, like lunging type patterns or squatting type, anything like that is, you can just tell there isn't a lot of control there. And you wonder, well, how can you build that strength unless there's at least some foundation of control? And then the question is, well, how far should I take this? And I so it sounds like martial artists have taken it very far. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
You look at any the thing with skill movement. Let's take a golf swing or
Mhm.
a baseball throw, whatever, or sprinting. Speed masks weaknesses. I mean, when you go fast, sometimes you can bypass weak points, you can overcome a sticking point or whatever. But when you look at the movement slowly, like, dude, what's happening there, right? I mean, if you are truly skilled at an exercise, at a movement, you should be able to do it at any velocities.
Mm.
I mean, I think it was Fred Couple, for example, and that was an example that struck me because Fred Couples had a great swing, and he said, my coach, my former coach, told me that if you cannot pause at the top of a golf swing and hit a perfect golf shot, then you don't know how to swing.
Mm.
So like you rush through it, and because it just used movement to compensate for the fact that he can't hold a position. And you said, "Hey, dude, holding a top backswing, that's super, super simple." I did that and I just could not hit the ball.
Yeah.
I was a pretty good player. So that stuck with me that, skill is first shown in slow movements. And if you're truly a skilled person at an exercise, you can adjust your movement. And that's a lot more complicated than you think, because you still need to respect the proper sequencing of which muscles firing first and so on and so forth. But I think that once in a while, if you, for example, golf swing, if you want to improve your golf swing, just once in a while, do a 1 to 3 minutes golf swing.
Mm.
That's going to ingrain that pattern. And then when you go back to fast, it's going to be automatic.
Yeah, it's and the to me, yeah, and that's where I've heard most of these ideas. Either like a golf swing. It seems like the easiest implementations are things that involve the hands and something where there's like this longer range. I think something like a sprint. I mean, you could slow down partially like a sled, a hill,
Yeah.
even a lunge is in a way that because you have a lot of components of the shape of the sprint that are there, and I think those are all ways to do it. My thought is, and this has allowed me to reframe bodybuilding and even machines a little bit in the sense I think we look at these things, oh, that's not very athletic. And you have the isometric too, but even just thinking about, well, what about just the basic control that's gained? And I even think about this, like I do a lot of rock climbing and my forearms are just like they're really massive compared to my upper arms. But I've always been a little like that. It's like Popeye a little bit, like calves, feet, high jump, like a lot of spring. And for some reason, my arms like to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
And so, but I've been working a lot on, well, how do I just get my biceps to work more? But part of it in that journey, I found doing the old school, like the concentration curl where you're like leaning on the bench. But if I let my shoulders relax, just fully
Mm.
stretch, oh,
Yeah.
I get such a good bicep. And I'm like, well, why are my shoulders so tight? That's probably holding me back somewhere else, and just that like a process of
Yeah.
it's actually, yeah, it's nice to work the arm, but I'm also like, wow, I get to down regulate all this extra tightness up here. So that's good for me. It's just, and I feel like there's a lot in that muscle control bodybuilding space that can, to a certain degree can be a good teaching point for a lot of people. I
Yeah.
think that maybe
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
overlooked.
Yeah, man, I think that's something that's sorely lacking in most individuals, the capacity to contract and or relax a muscle while contracting surrounding muscles. I mean, the principles of irradiation is very cool, meaning that, when I'm contracting a muscle, the surrounding muscles will automatically fire, but sometimes it can actually hinder proper movement.